Welcome to Speedy Walkthroughs, where we show just the important stuff to beating the game. For first time viewers, this will look different to a normal walkthrough. It'll show just the essentials, so you don't need to spend a long time watching this video. I won't talk about fighting specific enemies unless they're very difficult, but I will show you where to go and what to do. Today we're playing Crash Bandicoot, which is a platform game for the PlayStation 1 and was a mascot of the PlayStation for a long time. We're going to be 100%ing this, meaning we're going to be getting all the gems and getting the best ending in this video. So let's make a start. You're going to jump straight into the first level, and the goal of 100%ing this game is going to be to collect all the boxes. If you collect all the boxes on each level, you're going to get a gem, and that's going to be our priority here. So I'm going to be playing through these levels pretty quickly because you can see where all the boxes are being collected. Just make sure that if you see me jumping up off the screen or anything like that, it's usually because there's a box up there and you can hear that box being broken. So we're going to come through this level and we've got 3 masks, which means we've got invincibility. This invincibility is going to help us a lot because it helps us break this box bridge. Spawn the entire bridge and then wait and run across with invincibility. Crash will break all those boxes while still having invincibility. You have to backtrack and get those 2 there, but then we have our gem here. You'll know if you got the gem because you'll get the perfect cutscene rather than the you didn't get the box cutscene. Coming to level 2, we actually don't need to get all the boxes here. So this game does involve some revisits, and this level is one example of that. So there's coloured gems in this game, and you need all the coloured gems to sort of unlock secret paths and everything to get other boxes. So normally what we'd be doing is jumping up in that little inside area before and breaking more boxes, but we can't do that until we have the green gem from a later level. So with this one, you just want to run through till the end of the level, and we'll come back here later. Alright, looking at this next level here, the Great Gate, you actually don't need to collect all the boxes here because we can't get all the boxes without a colour gem. So again, just finish this level as per normal. We'll come back to this one later. Looking at boulders here, and this is a backwards running level, you do need to get all the boxes here because you can at this point. So without running this boulder, you basically just want to keep running and jumping, not hitting any obstacles. Crash will go slightly faster if while holding down you zigzag left and right really quickly. So if you're having trouble outrunning the boulder, you can use that zigzagging technique to get away from it a little bit faster. That only works on the original version of the game, not the remake. And then when we get all the boxes, you should have a gem for this level. With this next level upstream, you don't need to collect all the boxes. There is again another gem path that we'll need to come back to get all the boxes. So you just beat this level normally. My advice for this one is don't rush it, just be patient. So these leaf cycles, you just want to wait them out. The green piranha plants will close when you jump on them, and the blue ones will close on a cycle, so just be aware of that. Next up, we got the first boss of the game, Papu Papu. All you need to do is jump on his head a few times and you'll get it. If he's flashing, then you're not going to be able to hit him, but if he's not flashing, then he's vulnerable. So just jump on him 3 times and you got it. Next level is Rolling Stones, and you actually don't need to collect all the boxes here. There's again another gem path. Just be aware you'll have lost all your masks from fighting Papu Papu here. Alright, next level is Hog Wild, and this is our first hog riding level out of 2. You basically just want to run and jump. There's nothing else you can do here. Just be sure to hit all the boxes. There are some that are pretty tricky to hit, but all you need to do is just keep practicing and you'll be able to get them all. Once you finish the level with all boxes, you should get the cutscene and get another gem. Just try and follow my percentage count here if you're playing along, so you should have 3% at this point. Alright, Native Fortress. Again, we can't get all the boxes here because of a gem path. This is pretty common with Island 1 that you can't due to gem pass, but in the next couple islands we'll be able to do all the levels first try mostly. Alright, with that level done, we're actually finished with Island 1. Now we're on to Island 2 out of 3, and we're going to play Up the Creek, which is another water level. You can get all the boxes in this one, so make sure you're breaking all those along the way. As I said with the last one, the key to these ones is just patience. You don't want to rush the leaf cycles or anything. So we got this situation here. We're going to move forward shortly, and then we're going to have to do some backtracking. So you'll notice coming up here is like a ledge that you walk up, and then down there is going to be 2 boxes. So you move forward here and you hit this exclamation mark, and then you're going to come back on these leaves and break the TNT. So the TNT will blow up that bouncy box next to it. You just want to make sure that it stays on screen until that's done, and you want both of those to be broken. That's going to be the easiest pair of boxes to miss in this level. Once you've done that, the rest is just breaking boxes. You'll make it through to the end, and hopefully you'll get the gem from this one. Again, just be sure that you're following on with my percent counting. You should have 4 at this point. Alright, next up we have Ripperoo, which is our next boss fight. You basically just want to break these TNTs and hope that they hit him while he's on his way. There's nothing more to it than just trying to time it. You'll spot the pattern that he jumps on, and you want to try and hit him on the right pattern. Alright, next up we have the Lost City, and this is another one where we can get all the boxes. That first pair of boxes is just a 3D jump around. You want to like come out the front and then jump back around. You got to be careful of these bats. So with the bats, you can spin them out of the way, but if you try and spin the whole set of them out of the way, you're going to get hit. So only spin like 1 or 2 at a time. I'll mention something here about bonus levels. You'll notice that you're picking up tokens in this game, and you can go to bonus levels. You basically don't need to do those at all in the game. With the bonus levels, only like the very last bonus level will count to your percentage. So if you do a bonus level on a later one, that'll count all the previous bonus levels as complete. So when we 100% this game, you'll actually see the counter's going to jump from like 30% all the way up to 100% in one level. So I'm going to the bonus round here, but I actually don't need to. That's just because I happen to grab the token. So don't feel like you have to do this one. The only bonus rounds that we really have to do are the Cortex bonus rounds. And that's to get special keys to unlock secret levels. But apart from that, you don't need to do the other 2 types. So my advice for these cycles is a lot of those pushes will come out all 3 at a time or all 4 at a time. That's usually when you want to run past them, when they all come out and then all go back in. And there we go. We should have the gem for this level if you've done everything right. And that's a green gem which can unlock some old paths for us. Alright, coming up is Temple Ruins. So, yeah, this is another one where we want to be breaking all the boxes. And you'll see the thing with Island 2 is we're going to be breaking lots of boxes. Just be aware of, like, if I'm jumping on any boxes and going up off screen, that's usually me breaking another box off screen. There are some tricky boxes in this game where you can't actually see the boxes, you just sort of need to know they're there. So you go left here and there's a bunch of boxes. The apples are supposed to hint you into that invisible path, but that one's a really easy one to miss. And there we go. You should have the gem if you've done everything right. Alright, so the next level coming up is Road to Nowhere, and you actually can't get the gem for this one because there's a coloured gem path, so you're just going to have to go through the level normally. There is a pretty famous strategy of jumping on the handrails to get through this level easily, but I actually find that more difficult. I tend to find it a bit easier to just avoid all the obstacles. Alright, next level coming up, we're going to do Boulder Dash. Now this one again, you can't get the gem, so just go through the level normally, and we'll come back to this one later. Alright, moving on, we have Sunset Vista, which is an absolutely awful level. If you're playing the Japanese version, you'll get Slippery Climb here, but if you're playing the US version, you'll get Sunset Vista. It's just those 2 levels are swapped. So we're just going to go through. You can get the gem on this level in your first pass, so we're going to try and do it. Honestly, if you're playing this game and it's your first time ever playing it, it'll probably take you many hours to get through this level. The other thing I need to mention about 100%ing these levels, if you die, you don't get the gem for getting all the boxes. So you have to do it in one shot. Really important. So we're going to be climbing up here. This will also be our first level where we see the Cortex bonus round, so we're going to be going into that. Main thing here, I'll say it again, is just patience. So looking at what all the cycles are doing. If you can see when I'm jumping across the gaps, those are usually the same cycles you want to hit. And just take your time with it. So this bit here, you want to lure this guy, jump up, hit that box, and that spawns these ones. If you kill that lizard, sorry, you can't get 100% on this level. You have to try again. And you jump up and get that Cortex token. That was pretty risky, me doing it there with invincibility. Sometimes with invincibility, you don't get the good bounces off the boxes, but luckily I made it. Alright, last Cortex token is sort of here, and we're going to go to the bonus round. Pretty much all you need to do is get to the end of this one. You don't even need to break all the boxes. And you grab the key from Cortex. That key will open up a secret level, so that's just something you need to do to 100% the game. Anyway, we'll continue on with Sunset Vista. We're going to climb up this section now. Now you'll see me avoid that last Torna token to go to the bonus round. That's because you don't need to go to those bonus rounds to beat the game, 100%. Even though they make your percent counter increase, it just works really weirdly. You don't actually need to do it. And there we go, that's Sunset Vista complete. If you did it right and didn't die, you should get this cutscene. Alright, Koala Kong is our next boss. All you need to do, basically, is wait for him to throw the boulder that stays on the ground. So he'll throw a few boulders, and then the last one that he throws will walk out, and then that hits the ground and stays there. Then you spin it back at him. You just want to make sure that there's not a minecart in the way when you do that, and then you'll hit him a few times and win the fight. Right, with Koala Kong beaten, we're actually finished with Island 2, so we're going to go to Heavy Machinery now. This will be one where we can get the gem. General thing with these third island levels is that you can just get the gem first try, so it's worth going for the boxes in most of them. Alright, so we're going to our little secret area there. We got the boxes. Now this one, the blue pipes won't hurt you, but the red ones will, so you just got to be careful of that. Now with those bouncy platforms that we're seeing, you can hold the jump button to bounce a bit higher off them, so be aware of that. You'll need to do that later on in the level to get through them correctly. There we go, we got to the end of the level, and if you've done everything right, you should get the gem here. Alright, next up we have Cortex Power. This one you cannot get the gem yet. You need another colored gem to do this. So just go through normally. It is pretty non-linear, this level, so you can pretty much just take the path that I'm taking. But as long as you keep moving forward, you should generally get through the level okay. Alright, next up we have Generator Room, and this is one where you can get all the boxes. So just keep doing that. With the TNTs, sometimes if they're too far off screen when they explode, they don't count. So whenever you blow up a TNT, I'd recommend just keep it on screen until it blows up and you know that it's definitely exploded. Common theme with this level is it looks like there's platforms you can jump down to. You can't. Just keep following the linear path. You can't really take many shortcuts here, even though it looks like you can. Another little bit of advice I'll give for breaking big stacks of boxes, if you actually hold the spin button, even though it doesn't look like it does anything, it does actually make your spin break more boxes, or it makes the hitbox be available for a longer time, so keep that in mind as a good strategy. Alright, next up we got Toxic Waste. This is very linear and you can get the gem first try. Reminds me a bit of Donkey Kong because there's just this dude throwing barrels at you the whole time. Nothing really much to this level, just break all the boxes that you see. There aren't really any secret ones or anything. Again, try and avoid going to the tournament bonus rounds if you can, because you don't really need to. There we go, if you've done it right, you should have your gem. Next up we have the pinstripe boss. Basically what you got to do with this one is wait till he wears himself out and stops shooting, and then you can get in a bunch of hits on him. If you hide behind the couches, Crash will do that little ducking animation. If he does that ducking animation, then generally you can't be hurt. Alright, next up we have the high road. You're going to have boxes behind you at the start of the level here, so make sure you grab those. Then pretty much you're going to be able to get 100% first try on this level. Yeah, so with these turtles, remember you can hold X to jump higher. It's really important. You basically have to do that to beat the level. And make sure you don't accidentally kill one, otherwise maybe you can't get across. There is the strategy of jumping on the handrails to get across this level and skip most of it, but as I said before, I find that harder, so it's generally not worth it for me personally. There's another thing you can do in this game called a sub jump, where basically you like spin off an edge and you can then jump out of that spin once the spin ends. And that can be used to make some extra distance if you really want, but it's pretty tricky to pull off if you're not used to the timing of it. Next up we have Slippery Climb, which is one of the more notorious levels in this game. You can get the gem first try, so just grab all the boxes that you see. There aren't really any hidden or tricky boxes in here, it's just like a really hard level. Fun fact, they actually made a harder version of this level, like a second one of this theme, called Stormy Ascent, but it was so hard that they cut it from the game. If you want though, that level is still in the game and you can access it with a Game Shark code. It's pretty fun. So with these red steps, make sure you don't jump on them when they're down. If they're down, then they'll completely slip you off and like fling Crash the other direction. You really don't want to get that. So with all these cycles, again, it's really important, just take your time with them. So stop, observe what's happening in the cycles, and then make your move. If you rush them, you'll most likely just die. When you're jumping off all those birds as well, you really want to hold the jump button. That'll help you get a higher bounce. There we go. If you've done everything right, then you should have 100%. Just make sure that if you ever die on one of these difficult levels, you do restart it. Otherwise, you won't get the gem. Alright, next up we have Lights Out, and this is another one of our dark levels. You actually can't 100% it yet, because we do need a colored gem to do that, so just play through it normally. Make sure that you don't get hit, otherwise you're going to lose your light and probably die, because you can't see what you're doing. The other thing is, make sure you don't hit the Aku Aku boxes until as late as you can. So sometimes you can like hit an enemy into an Aku Aku box. So be careful when you're hitting enemies. It's probably best to jump on them rather than spin them forward. Otherwise they'll hit the box early and you'll get the mask, but then you'll lose the mask early because you got the mask early. And you'll have to do a bit of the level in the dark. Alright, next up we have Jaws of Darkness. This is another one that we can 100%, and it'll also be our other one that has a Cortex bonus round, so keep your eye out for that. Make sure you're grabbing all the Cortex tokens. So this level does actually have a gem path on it that you need a colored gem for, but we already have that colored gem, so we should be able to do that. So we're going to take this gem path down. Now with that TNT box that I just blew up, make sure that you actually break all the other boxes first, because if the TNT blows up the box with the Cortex token, you don't get it. So if you got that Cortex token, you should be in this bonus round and grab the key. Alright, now that we got that key, we're just going to continue on with our level. It's a secret path to get yourself back there. And then we should finish it here. If you've 100%ed it, you'll get the gem for this one. Next up we got Castle Machinery. You can basically skip this whole level if you have the green gem, but then you won't get all the boxes, so it's not really worth doing that. We're going to take it through. Nothing too fancy with this level, just grab all the boxes that you see. There aren't really any that are that hard to find. So coming up pretty soon is probably one of the trickiest sequences in the game, getting all these boxes that are in the air. I would hold the jump button and make sure you do big bounces and take your time getting all those boxes and sort of plan out which ones you're going to get in advance, otherwise you'll get into a rough situation where you've sort of got to get the bottom ones, but you got to get the top ones, but you don't have any bottom ones to bounce off of. Alright, next up we're going to go through to Embryo. There's sort of two phases to this fight. So the first one, you just got to jump on the green slimes and you'll get him. And then after you've hit him a few times, he'll turn big and you got to jump on him when he's big. Now, no matter how much you try, you can't jump on him without jumping off these rocks that fall first. So use those rocks and you're going to hit him on the head and beat him. Alright, next up we have the lab, and you will be able to get the gem in this one. This is the last level that we're going to do before we start our big backtracking session. You'll notice there's a lot of levels that we skipped before, and we skipped them because we didn't have the colored gem. So we'll be coming back and getting all those gems that we've missed after this. I'm going to the bonus round here. I'm pretty sure you don't actually have to, but I'm just doing it to be safe. You'll notice that my percentage has jumped from like 30% up to 86%. That's because that bonus round, when we beat that very last one in the game, it counts as beating all the ones before that one. So yeah, it's kind of weird how it works. Again, I'm pretty sure you don't actually have to do that bonus round, but I did it there just to show you what it is. Alright, there we go. And we should have our next colored gem. And now we're going to start doing our backtracking. So come all the way back. We're going to do lights out first. You'll remember that before we did lights out, we sort of couldn't get it because of the colored gem. So you're just going to go through. There actually aren't too many boxes in this level. But there will be a gem path sort of taking us upwards in the middle. So kind of this point here, jump on the yellow gem and it brings you up. There's literally just like 3 boxes up here that we couldn't get before, and that's 100% of the level done. From lights out, we're going to head straight up to Fumbling in the Dark. It's another dark themed level. There's actually boxes behind where you start, so it's really important to make sure you grab those. Anyway, once we've done that, we're just going to go through and beat the level as normal. Nothing too fancy here, it's just like a harder version of Lights Out. Again, my advice with these levels is try not to spin enemies forward if you can help it. Because if you spin them forward, they'll hit the Aku Aku mask box early and then you will lose it early. So just jump on enemies to kill them if you can. If you lose your light, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can usually sort of still make your way through the level without it, if you know where you're going. But it definitely makes it a lot harder. There we go, we should have 100% if we've done that right. Alright, we're now going to head back. We're going to head all the way back to the start of the game, and then we're going to work our way forward through the rest of the levels. So we're going to head all the way back to Jungle Rollers, which I think was just the second level. Now that we've got the gem, we'll be able to do this 100%. So it's a similar situation. The only boxes that we actually missed were the ones in here. So ride the gem up, and you'll see it's just like those 2 or 3 boxes up there. That's all we needed to 100% it. If you've seen any speedruns of this game, you'll notice that they can skip a lot of these colored gem paths. Like the speedrun, if you watch it, they won't do a revisit to this level. But those glitches are pretty difficult. If you're playing the game casually, I would recommend just doing it how I'm doing it here. Next up, we're going to come through to the Great Gate. This again is one that we skipped before because we couldn't get all the boxes. So the level's really normal until you get to the end of it. So you'll see this portal and there's a whole gem path to sort of jump over that portal now. Those gems weren't there before. So when you jump over the portal, there's this big area here. Now you do need to jump over this bit. Because I'm pretty sure there's boxes behind there. You gotta be careful. Yeah, it's this section here. So you'll see I broke a box behind there. Make sure that you go back and get that one. That's going to be really easy to miss. You get all of them, you'll get the perfect. Alright, next up we're going to revisit upstream. Alright, so there's gems down there. We're just going to get that singular box under that bit. There's actually sort of two gem paths. There's that one and there's one towards the end of the level which we need to take as well, which is this one here. So just jump forward on that and you'll get the rest of the boxes for upstream. If you're not sure which levels to revisit, when you're on a level on the map screen, it'll show you whether you got the gem or not. So just revisit all the ones that don't have the gem on there. Our next one we'll revisit is Rolling Stones. As you can see, invincibility helps a lot in this level. The gem path will actually take you downwards. So there's a blue gem there, you write it down, and then you got those 6 boxes. And there we go. Alright, next one we're doing is Native Fortress. This level's pretty long, especially with the gem path added in. So if these spikers are going to hit you, you can usually spin to avoid some damage. It just depends on the timing whether or not you get it. So the gem path is up here. You want to ride it up and jump up there. There's just a couple boxes around, that's it. That's this level done. Alright, so that's pretty much our Island 1 revisits done. Now we can do our Island 2 revisits. First one's Road to Nowhere, which is this bridge level. So you got to ride this red gem right, and you got to be really careful about how you break these boxes and in what order. You want to hit that TNT, and that'll make this box appear. You then hit that exclamation mark box to make those 4 appear. Those are really easy to miss. And then you hit the last couple TNTs there. It's really easy to miss a box or 2 in that section just because you have to spawn the boxes in. You might not realize. Then after, at the end of the level, there's this other bit where you sort of jump over the end portal. There we go, ride that red gem across. And now these bridge planks that I'm spawning, they're the only ones that are there. There's none in between them, so make sure you do full jumps and you should make it across. Alright, next we're going to do Whole Hog, which is another one of our secret levels. It's another hog riding level. Realistically, there's no hidden boxes or anything. You just need to try and break all the ones you see. It is pretty difficult to do though. There's one box in here that's really notorious for having bad hit detection, so watch out for that one. Alright, moving on. We're going to come back through to Boulder Dash. This is the level we skipped before, and we're going to come back to it. There's just a gem path at the very end of the level, that's it. So go through normally, breaking all the boxes, and then we'll see that gem path. Again, if you're having trouble outrunning this boulder, try that zigzagging technique I mentioned before, where you're holding down and sort of wiggling left and right really quickly, and that can help you. That only works when you're jumping as well. Alright, so the gem path is here. Now, really important, you need to wait till the boulder's gone before you ride that gem. If you ride it too early, you're going to hit the boulder and die on your way to the gem path here. And there we go, we should get 100% if we do that. Alright, that's good. So we're going to move on to Island 3 and revisit Cortex Power, which we couldn't do before. So this level's very non-linear. You need the blue gem to get all 100% on this level. So we're going to take a right first, and then we should be taking another right once we do that. This guy's going to try and shoot us, but you can hide behind the 2 poles there. And we're going to take a left this time. You want to go forward for a little bit here. There's a couple boxes you need to break. Basically, that box up there is the one we need to break. Once you've broken that, you can come back. And then we want to ride the blue gem up here. And there we go. That's Cortex Power. So at this point, we're 100% complete, which is really good. So you have a couple of options here. You can beat Cortex if you want, or you can just go straight to the Great Hall. Now, the Great Hall here is this level, and it only has the path complete if you've got all the gems. So you can see we got all the gems here, so we can actually jump straight to the end. If we were missing even one of those, then we wouldn't be able to make that path work. But yeah, that is the 100% ending of the game. You'll notice that I haven't actually beaten Cortex, and you don't have to 100% the game. Beating Cortex is only for if you don't have all the gems. If you do have all the gems, you get this lovely secret ending. You can, of course, beat him if you want, but it won't really do anything differently. We've got 100% already. So that's going to be all for this walkthrough. I hope that you found it useful. If you did, then a subscription is always appreciated, and thanks so much for watching.